Nick, can you explain to our audience what is a panel?
It's in a widget library. It's one element you can use to insert. It's a container element, and you can add more elements into the widget. It's called a panel.
You're very smart.
I did UI development many years ago.
He did. Okay, so another definition would be it's an excuse for lazy speakers to just improvise instead of doing a presentation, but we're not any of them, right? Okay, so the topic of this panel is going to be the future of Ruby. I assume that the majority of you are Ruby developers, and the future of Ruby is kind of tied to your future, not necessarily your future, because if you're smarter, your future is closer. But
Closer or closure?
yes. So
I'm going to pass the microphone to Vlad because I already answered one question.
okay, so Vlad, if you are the chief architect of Ruby, what is the direction that you would like to take? What do you see in the future of Ruby?
Good question, you know. Well, it's hard to answer the question because I already know what Ruby core team wants from Ruby 3. But as for me, actually, I have everything I want except from maybe some performance things. But I don't want adding some breaking changes like typing system. Do we need it in Ruby? We got Crystal, right? So, I don't know. It could help as a kind of static analysis, but not for runtime. And maybe we need some more tooling for concurrency. That's the only thing I'm missing in Ruby. Yeah, that's one thing that's probably coming. I know guilds are not the same thing as core routines and Go routines or whatever routines on arrow processes, and we will never have something like this in Ruby. I don't think so. So yeah, the only thing I'm wondering is concurrency. That's it.
So you're saying you don't want breaking changes in the future of Ruby?
Big breaking changes, like let's add types and make them necessary.
That would be like a different language, of course.
Yeah,
but you know,
language.
But my point is, let's say monkey patching, for example, is something I do not appreciate. Many people do not appreciate because actually Mats also doesn't appreciate it because it makes the concurrency way harder to, because we have mutable objects and mutable classes. So, for example, if you say, let's make monkey patching an additional feature on top of a fresh Ruby that has no monkey patching, that would be a breaking change, but it would be a valuable breaking change in my opinion.
Kind of have this feature, it's called refinements, That's a monkey patching in a different way. I'm a big fan of, I know you both don't like it. I know that.
But what if I want to run a really stable software enterprise? And I don't want monkey patching at all in that whole project. So if I don't turn it on, it's not there. That would be amazing in my opinion, this kind of stuff. Like getting rid of features instead of changing.
That's a good point. If you're building enterprise software, so kind of isolated software, you don't need monkey patching. If you're building gems, libraries, kind of plugins for other gems and libraries, it's almost impossible to avoid monkey patching. Not because, there is no other options. There is. If gem offers, you provide an API to extend their functionality. We don't need monkey patching, right? But most offers are not so, do not care about other people. They only think about themselves. So that's why we need monkey patching. Otherwise, instead of extending some gem, let's add some cool functionality to Active Record. Nowadays there are some APIs, mostly internal, but if you want to add some cool thing, you have to monkey patch it. If you had Active Record with Extensibility API, you didn't need monkey patching, right?
Okay, so to summarize your answer, you think that we need more developers who know object-oriented programming fundamentals in the Ruby community. That's a good wish about the future. You can be some of those. What do you think?
I believe some kind of brave stuff is needed for Ruby 3. For example, I'd say let's just remove symbols because they are kind of unnecessary. Because now we are freezing strings everywhere, which is weird. I mean, strings should have been immutable from the start, but you know, Ruby tends to be kind of conservative. And the other thing which I find really confusing is that we have bazillions of aliases for same stuff. That makes explaining stuff to newcomers really hard. Other than that, I think we should have some kind of built-in formatter, because the new languages are not most of them have this, and it really removes the debate of single or double quotes, because it's so much vibe sharing about single or double quotes that I always see about, you know, and Robocop always yells at me about double quotes, because, for example, in Crystal we just removed the debate and we made like see which single quotes are chars and doubles are strings, so it's always strings, double quotes. So that kind of stuff really minor, but it really improves the whole workflow. Other than that, I'd say we need multi-threading, like utilizing all the cores, because all the new languages are doing this, and I'd say we need some kind of concurrency model, something like CSP from Go, or we already have that in Crystal. So, and it really eases away the pain of threads, because threads are not so easy to use, and Ruby by default are not so thread safe. You have to deal with build all the stuff by yourself, or you have to use concurrent Ruby. But the fun thing is that concurrent Ruby has so many stuff built in that it's so confusing which to use now. There's like promises there's like channels, there's like, I don't know, actors from Erlang and all that stuff, and you just get confused. I mean, I'm sure that it's not just only me that gets confused by all that options. And I really believe that having something built into standard library would really increase the adoption and would really make stuff really easy. For example, sorry? Yeah, it's planned, but I'm not sure if it's being actively worked. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's being actively worked on.
Yeah, of course.
I haven't seen any update on the issue tracker. I think it might be stale, but I might be wrong too. But that's a tough one. What else? I'd say we need more stuff for profiling and kind of digging into performance issues in Ruby. For example, Go has something called, what's it? Go Prof or something like that. And even though I don't write Go, I really like the idea about that you can just see what's going on without, you know, using any external tools. So that kind of stuff really makes the whole workflow seamless and the experience better for the developer. And I really believe that we should go for that kind of stuff, but to be honest, the Ruby core is really conservative about breaking chains and this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So to summarize it, we need better tools, we need to catch up with some other languages, maybe we should just switch to Crystal.
Yeah, that's an option too.
That's an option.
Just kidding.
Or to a new runtime, because I think that, for instance, if you're using JRuby, you are solving at least part of the tooling problem. You get much better profilers, you get a much better runtime, way more modern. You learn something about the JVM, and it's easier for you to become a Clojure developer afterwards. So, you know, JRuby is the gateway drug. You take the red pill, and you never come back. Okay, we can talk all night long about the technical problems and so on. We are not making the decisions in the end of the day. I'm curious, what is your take on the broader future? Do you think that a language can really catch up with the newer competitors? Or that they are destined to fail, to stay back. Ruby is going to become the new Kobo 10 years down the road. And maybe it's better for us to start thinking about Balkan closure. So some other brighter future.
Crystal is apparently also really cool. The alternative. Have you heard of Crystal?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. The thing is that
It's very cool.
I think Ruby is like really stabilized as a mainstream language. The thing is that since it's not exciting anymore, like it's not the new kid in the block, that's why people feels like it's not so hot anymore. But I believe that we still have a bright future, and Mats said that he's gonna do whatever it takes to keep it real, keep it alive. And I believe that they are gonna somehow figure out.
He also said that he was going to make it 3 times faster without specifying any details. So
Yeah.
I don't trust this guy that much. Okay, Volo, what do you think?
First of all, I think the language itself is not the key factor of popularity growth or whatever, or decline. The key factor, especially in Ruby, is a community and ecosystem. And while we have large and famous projects using Ruby and not ditching it, while we have THH doing his amazing keynotes of how Ruby and Rails is good. This was a joke. Yeah, that was weird actually. So I think adding new features to Ruby, it's just about 20% of to make people continue using it. And the community, the new events, so we have every year we have a new conference related to Ruby. So this year it's Balkan Ruby.
Yeah.
The last one year we have Southwest Ruby in the United States, and I don't know, maybe something else. I don't think the Ruby is declining. So we're just in the next phase, and in this phase, community matters more than the language itself. So language got its popularity about 10 years ago, and now we're just growing some kind of culture around it, an ecosystem.
That's a good point. Nick, do you want to add something to this?
Yeah, so I agree. It's a lot about the community in Ruby, and if anyone appreciates the community in Ruby, then it's me. But so the thing is, lots of good Ruby people have left already the community because they are not happy with the way the language. I mean, I'm really negative right now. I'm not that negative normally, but
Yes.
but so people leave because they're not happy with the language, and good people who wrote really massive gems or like extensions, they feel not heard anymore in Ruby, so they leave. And I think that's due to a too conservative core team that is frantically trying not to break Ruby versions. So I talked to a lot of the core members, and I keep telling them, please be more aggressive, please be more progressive, break stuff. Like, for example, I'm coming back to the same example with the monkey patching, like make monkey patching something optional, because this feature drives me nuts, and I don't use it anywhere in all my gems, and I don't think you need monkey patching if you write gems. Nuts. I mean, it's handy, it's a cool feature in Ruby to add some method to an object, but the point is, like, Koichi is working on the new concurrency model called guilds for Ruby 3, and his main problem is the mutability of objects, and that is due, so you can change objects at runtime, and that is deadly for concurrency. And so one of his main problems is monkey patching. And this makes me wonder, why are we not breaking Ruby and say, here's a new Ruby interpretation where we have monkey patching optional if you want to use guilds, the new awesome concurrency system, because we all need concurrency models apparently to be a modern language. If you want that, then use Ruby without that monkey patching feature. And you break stuff, but for me it's okay. And it means innovation. It means the core will clean up and throw out code they don't need. I mean, for me, this is the way to go, but no one actually cares what I say, except you guys, and that's great.
You would like to say something?
I'd like to add something. I think having such an idea that either you use monkey patching or either you have guilds is won't work just because most of the applications won't work with this. I think the better idea is to, you can use monkey patching guilds together, but then guilds won't work as performant as they can without monkey patching. So you do not sacrifice functionality, you sacrifice the performance. But the same code work with monkey patching and without it. That would not break a change, actually, but that would force developers and users to migrate to tools which do not use monkey patching to use guilds as they are a more powerful way. That's maybe not breaking solution.
And I really want that people constantly talk about breaking changes, but if you do it gradually as you're supposed to, is it really a breaking change? You can deprecate it tomorrow, have it work until Ruby 3.0, which is supposedly going to be released in 2022, so plenty of time for us to clean up the legacy code, and we can move forward from there, because I'm really amazed lately by the Java community and the rapid pace of innovation. Java, rapid pace of innovation. PHP as well, but they got millions and millions of dollars from Facebook with money. It's relatively easy to innovate. Okay, Java also has millions and millions and billions of dollars, so it's okay. But they also have a really big committee steering the progress, and you should know that a big committee can erase the value of billions of dollars really fast. They're not very progressive. But if the biggest language ecosystem in the world can start shipping new releases every 6 months, that they can actually announce in advance what they're going to ship, so you don't have to guess and wait until Christmas. If they can start doing breaking changes that break a shitload of applications in a gradual manner. For instance, now half of my applications are glowing like Christmas trees. That this is going to be deprecated into releases, deleted into releases, this in 5, whatever. And we see it, we are going to do it, and progress comes. So it doesn't have to be all-in, doesn't have to be sudden. But people never talk about this. I don't want to be doing breaking changes.
I'd like to add some perspective on this. Just like you said, it's all about managing the expectations of the community, and don't give them like super hard promises to keep. But the thing is that as like we are humans, we are living things, we all improve and evolve. So I believe that so does our programming languages, or our languages should evolve too. And that's how real work works, right? So instead of my advice to Ruby core would be like, instead of being too conservative, let's just go with the flow and manage the expectations of community in a well manner. I mean, most of the Ruby core, the thing is that nearly 80% of the issues and stuff is in Japanese, so that makes participating impossible for rest of the world. And even if you know Japanese and go like ask something, it's mostly hard to get your idea accepted because they are super conservative, and that's part of the Japanese culture, I believe. And to get past that, you need to be really, persistent, like the MJIT guy. He just, did a lot of work. He just created MJIT out of nowhere, and he just sent the patch to Ruby core. But I think that's 1 in a million, right? And not everyone can do the same. And that means that they should really value ideas from the community more. But like you said, Ruby core is mostly, really close. And they don't use GitHub or any other social coding platform. So also going to Ruby issue tracker, which runs on Redmine, I think, is also hard. I mean, it's not hard, but it's a different flow, and they mostly talk in issue threads, so you can't just go and jump into some random conversation. That makes participating into core a bit harder than it should be, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's undoubtedly true. I think that Nick wants to insult somebody on the subject. Do you really want to do it? I can see that.
Actually, I'm more interested how does it work in Crystal?
Yeah.
I mean, this is not a joke.
In Crystal, the thing is that we are really open. We have a Gitter channel. We are released on GitHub. And our community is still small and vibrant. And we are all welcoming, it's all rainbows and unicorns still. And the thing is that since we are not 1.0, we make breaking changes like every day. And it's okay. I mean, the community is like, this is not 1.0, and they actually want breaking changes because if it's for the better, I mean, it's okay to have breaking changes. For example, let me see. We had some incompatible issues with the HTTP server interface. I think it's like last month or something. And someone just, opened up an RFC, and we just, everyone jumped in and talked about the solution. And eventually, we revamped the whole interface to be more flexible. And turned out that the ideas from the community are actually valuable. And you can see that there are really smart people in the community. So that's the most important thing, that as a core member, you have to acknowledge that there are smarter guys than you in the community. There is a chance. And I really believe that that's why core teams should utilize the community much more than as it is right now. Because one day you can get a contribution that's just like Amjit, out of nowhere, and it can really, change your perspective, or it can really solve a problem that you thought would be impossible to solve as it is. So I really believe that the power of communities is such an important thing that no one should ignore. Yeah, and in Crystal, we, like I said, we rely on community, and it's because we don't have so many core members, and we don't have resources like Java or Ruby, or we don't have so many dedicated people working on the compiler and on the STD. But that makes things more open and more transparent to everyone. And there is no, what do you call it, governance model yet. So that makes stuff much more easier than most of the other languages.
In the words of a great philosopher, chaos always defeats order because it is better organized.
Yeah.
But you said some really deep and profound things that are completely true. Yeah, we appreciate them. I wish that the core team appreciated some of this as well, but then there is also the matter of growth. Until you have a big mass of users, you can do pretty much everything, because the enthusiasts don't really care about breaking changes, they care just about progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you start working like Nick on enterprise software, BPM engines for Ruby, then the perception, the goals really change. Okay, so let's wrap it up with something optimistic. I want to hear the version, the vision of all of you for the future of Ruby 10 years from now. Nick, what do you think? Where will we be?
So in 10 years, my perfect Ruby will be modular, so I can turn off monkey patching to say that at that time. And it will have immutability built in, again, as a module. So we can have concurrency, we can have functional programming styles without the pain that we have right now. Because right now you always have to make sure that some other idiot doesn't mess with your code. And you can so simply avoid that by having the right tools in the language. But modular.
Okay.
For me, my perfect Ruby is already here with Crystal. I mean, even Mats called it deliverance at a conference. It was probably not kidding. I think it's true. But the thing is that in Ruby, I agree with Nick that we need to be more aggressive and we need to remove all that burden from the past. Like there are like symbols and all that weird aliases and stuff like that. And also my perfect Ruby would have a proper threading model, like with a proper concurrency primitive built into the language. So yeah, I hope it's coming. Like yeah, spots.
Well, we already talked a lot about it. I think that in 10 years Ruby will be the same that in 4 years. So nothing except from Ruby 3, Ruby 8, some non-drastic changes. And to be honest, I don't see myself in the Ruby community in 10 years. Yeah, I'm going to write my own language, you know. So, nothing new. So currency, better tooling, that's a good point. Maybe we should have Rubakov as a part of Ruby, you know. But I'm afraid of it because Rubakov produces breaking changes every minor release.
We do only major releases.
Oh, you're using it? Oh, okay. That's kind of major. Okay, so, yeah, I think one good point is utilizing multi-core systems. That's a good point. Currently, we should use some kind of supervisors running multiple processes, all that stuff with some copy and write problems, whatever. So that's one point. I haven't heard about it, and there is no plan for that I understand in Ruby core team. Maybe that would be not breaking, but very impressive change in 10 years.
Okay, I guess I should say something as well about the future of Ruby. 10 years from now, I see the future of Ruby in you, because as everybody comes to learn it in the end of the day, Ruby has never been some special language. It was kind of average with amazing people and amazing energy around it. And with some really mediocre tools, they managed to build so many amazing achievements. And this is massive. They fueled the growth of the next level of technologies, languages, frameworks, whatever. Elixir drew so much inspiration straight from Clojure, Crystal, Clojure. It was one of the principal inspirations. The amazing people got infused by the spirit of Ruby, and they kept on doing amazing things. I really hope that the language is going to be around, but I'm certain that you are going to be around. We are going to be around discussing whatever's cool, whatever's relevant. Nick is going to be old and weak, and I'm finally going to be able to drink more than him. So that's my dream for the 10 years. Yeah. But you know, the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed yet. But it will be sooner or later.
No, I made this bad joke because, what did you say? It's not evenly distributed. We don't have, because we don't have a concurrency system yet in Ruby to distribute it evenly. That's true. So bad.
Well, enjoy the rest of the conference. Enjoy Ruby and the after party, especially the after party.